This is Scott Becker with the Becker Business Minute Podcast, the Becker Private Equity Podcast. One of the questions that was asked of me is whether the government constantly increasing their debt ceiling and increasing their debt is similar to an individual constantly increasing their credit card debt and their credit card spending, and does it put them in a horrible situation? I think that the answer is clearly yes. The more that the government raises the debt ceiling and the debt that they have to pay, the less likely and the longer it is that we're able to service that debt, or that it's going to greatly cut into other things the government wants to do and should do. So, for example, when the government debt goes from $6 trillion to $32 trillion as it has over the last 15 years, and you end up with 30 plus trillion in debt. Now you're in a situation where just 4% interest rates the government's paying means that the debt's costing us, before we start on any other spending priorities, $1.2 trillion or so a year, $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion a year. In contrast, if we went back a year ago when interest rates were low, it was $300 billion a year. If we went back again 15 years ago, we had $6 trillion in debt, and even if interest rates were 5%, we were paying $300 billion a year in interest. Now we're using a huge amount of the federal government's spending capacity each year just to pay interest, because we've got both high interest rates and a huge amount of debt outstanding. So we think this is very similar to the consumer leveraging up on too much credit card debt. We agree with the question. We're thankful for the question. Thank you for listening to the Becker Business Minute and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. Thank you very much.